And education functions within an integrated system of knowledge. Knowledge, when we say that, what is knowledge? Knowledge has three major dimensions. One is acquisition of knowledge, where we get information. We get information and then shape it, analyze it, and give our thought to pass it on to the next generation. That's what is that acquisition of knowledge. And when we pass on the information to whosoever, that becomes that second part, is the knowledge dissemination. And here, at least in this group, most of us are doing that. Most of us are doing some research, understand, acquiring the knowledge and disseminate it, whatever we have shaped inside, developed insights, and then others will go. It's a cyclic process that we follow. I get educated, I educate to others. They get educated, they get educated to others. That's how the education system goes on. The third dimension, which is very important, is the applications of knowledge. That application of knowledge is the crux that I will be probably talking about. Knowledge is not a knowledge unless it is used. And we have to really think about it, how much we have acquired, how much we have passed on, and how much this information is probably used. So insight is acquired, redefined, defined, passed on to others, not necessarily with an intention that this will be used at the last point. And anybody who is working in the development sector, or anybody who is working on the little different than traditional anthropology. Traditional anthropology helps us in understanding it, but they understand how the whole value of education is required. And it's not me alone that is talking that education has to be used. The Russian scholar Herbert Spencer, what he said the great aim of education is not knowledge, but it's an action. I emphasize that, yes, we have understood anthropology, we have understood how it will be used, we have transmitted repeatedly passed on information, but we have not given enough. I don't say that they have not given. We have not given enough emphasis on how the information will be converted into action. And that is the concern. It's not from that other country. It's our own man. I had opportunity to work with him. I feel proud of it. And education is useless unless it is used. What else do you really think about? So it's a knowledge which has to be used. Application of knowledge solves the real problem. And I go a little ahead and I say that the knowledge should be applied for meaningful and satisfactory work. What I say, satisfactory is a value loaded, but I leave it to the audience what is really meaningful to them, what is actually satisfying them. So that is a challenge, but yeah. Other proposition, which is again value loaded, is that relevance of anthropology lies with the knowledge of society that will be used for solving the life problems of people and community. That is the problem where we have to really think about. And that can happen only when it thrives. It's a practical, shared, and contextual, context-driven. We have to be updated. Feedback is necessary. Cross-disciplinary, we all talk about it. It's nothing new. We all talk about cross-disciplinary. And cross-disciplinary, how many lectures from other disciplines are arranged in any of our departments of anthropology. A lot of my friends and colleagues are here who are heading the department, probably headed the department, held a senior position. So this is what is important if you talk about the cross-disciplinary action. There should be a fertilization of idea from the department, other department you want to work with. That will boost the insights and innovation. Otherwise, we are going round and round to the same problem, discussing about generation old, say, all our syllabus. I will come back how the management institutions are doing. So we are back to this question, how does anthropology remain relevant to the society? And where can anthropology find meaningful, satisfying work? Satisfying again. And yeah, throughout, I was really talking about it. I made a lot of efforts. People of my generation will remember 10th ICAES, first time World Anthropology Conference held in any third world country, that was India in 1978. And some of us who were of the first generation of anthropologists, young anthropologists, in Delhi University, I remember, Surendranath was a good friend, Chana was there, and Joshi, Lalit, Ajit Singh from Ranchi, Naresh Baid, they were all volunteered for that. And we sat together in Delhi University of one of their room and said, no, we should raise our voice against the going on trends that our seniors are deciding factors. I said, no. So we organized a conference that was incidentally most attended conference of the 10th ICAES. The title was Young Anthropologists Look at World Anthropology. Joshi often talks about, I mean, he's no more, but he talked about Yalawa, that was Young Anthropologists Look at World Anthropology. And couple of, I forgot the name, couple of students from Delhi University. Nita will know, her classmate Elizabeth Zakaria was working with me for that mission. And we all worked and we said, okay, this is what we have realized, that our future is decided by those whose future have been sealed. How can they decide without asking us? So the participatory decision we were talking about, thanks God, thanks to that gentleman who was from Illinois University, US, Dr. Dimitri Sinkin, he really appreciated, fought for us, and then it happens always. If you are very vocal, they will try to put you somewhere. So I was nominated as the member of IUAES Futurology Commission with Dr. Vikram Da, V.K. Roy Burman. And all my writing since then, you see, some of my publications, I'm not a prolific writer, but whatever I write about the future direction of anthropology and what anthropologists should focus on. All these are there. And late Dr. Mohan Gautam, he wrote a paper on Dr. Vidyarthi. And he had mentioned in his book that Professor Vidyarthi has this sacred complex and all other things. But some of his students also don't agree with what anthropologists should take it forward. Yes, I was registered under Dr. Vidyarthi for my PhD on sacred complex. The idea was not even digested by me. So I changed the title. I have been talking, and it's another attempt to talk to the younger generation, talk to the my generation of people to really think about seriously. Yeah, we have to really think about how we should address the real community issue. We should not remain in academic isolation. We do a lot of things we do in academic domain, we have to balance the methodological rigor. Anthropology is really known for methodological rigor, and that methodology we will be discussing about this. It's a field, it's a field science, and that should be used for equitable and sustainable impact when we talk about. We have to advance it for human well-being. Meaningful impact, I say, what everybody will talk. Anybody who we ask him and he or she will talk, it's a very very meaningful impact is creating. They are justifying it. So theory and practice, what we learn about, should go hand in hand in giving us a light to understand the problems of people and society, and especially here, I say, lot of efforts have been made to develop, so-called develop, the underdeveloped. And I can quote one example. Gentleman who is a social worker, he is no more now, Manibhai Desai. He had developed the whole development protocol and development models of Urli Kanchan in Maharashtra. He visited the Space Application Center one day, and my unit director took him along, and he said, this is satellite imagery, here is that information, and we are trying to reach to that grassroots level. We are trying to use it for development. And very coolly, Mr. Manibhai Desai, what he said, I am happy to listen that even a Space Application Center is here, because the Space Application Center was meant to apply the space technology and science for the people. So you all talk about development. Find it out whose development we are talking about. So when we talk about development, and I will be going in the next 2-3 slides, what development efforts have been made, the marginalized community, their problem, their ecological system, everything is left apart. And it happens when we are making it a macro plan, so micro problems are overlooked or sidelined. Yes, we know about it, that this has to be done. Each nation and regions have shaped their policy based on local needs, resources, and limitations. People and the planet face numerous challenges. And it's very difficult to say that which challenge we are talking about. Development efforts were made at the international level. A lot of them has been discussed, and then plans were made. Today, everybody talks about, and I attend some of the discussions elsewhere, and in our anthropological forum also, Sustainable Development Goal, the 17th Sustainable Development Goal, I think we all have got it by heart. So these sustainable developments are there today, but before that even, consistent efforts were made to formulate development plan of the nations, all the nations, because I said every nation has numerous problems. So their concern predates Millennium Development Goal and Sustainable Development Goal. And I give you some example. The UN Declaration of Rights to Development, that part was discussed in 1986. That 1986 they discussed in that was discussed in New York, and then they recognized development as a fundamental right. That's they discussed in New York conference, and the Earth Summit was organized in 1992. The Rio de Janeiro Summit is called, and then what happened? it introduced the concept of sustainable development. The first time in 1992, they started talking about sustainable development. Just note the day, say year 1992. 1995, again, we had World Summit on Social Development in Copenhagen, and all focused on poverty, eradication, employment, and education, all integration, everything. Employment was also one of the major factors. Social integration was there. So from 1992, when we talked about the sustainable development, we have something called MDG, Management Development Goals. The time frame was 2000 to 2015. You all know about it. And all these 8 management development goals were there. It helped mobilize global action and achieved some progress. 1992 to 2000, they tried to understand what is happening and how we should formulate, prioritize the development goals. Good. We were there in, say, 2015 and 2016 again. It was launched in 2015, but 2015, they say, oh, let us review what has happened. And the outcome varied across country. Why it varied? Because the local context was different. It was probably implemented, not implemented, implemented with their concerns on something. Challenges remained partially resolved. I mean, you think about Indian perspective. Those who are interested in health area, and some of our friends who are in the so-called practicing anthropology, they know about all this. How much have we really achieved in terms of management development goal? Out of 8, 3 were just related to health. So what happens? And it happens in international programs. I mean, we all experienced it, whosoever worked with the international organization. 2015, again, it was reworded, reformatted, and we came out with 17 sustainable development goals. These sustainable development goals are there, more inclusive, and what you say, deadline again is another 15 years. What will happen? Locally relevant development programs were there, and they all claim that goals were expanded. I said this is social, economic, and environmental equity, inclusive, and sustainability. Today, we are in the so we crossed the middle of August 2025. Half, what is it? Two-third time frame we have crossed. What is the achievement? It's becoming increasingly clear that many of these goals may be difficult to achieve by 2030. What will happen after 2030? Will it be another, say, CDG or XYZ DG? And this will continue. So present situation arises, and we all align ourselves with this development goal. So in that situation, what we say, this is the reason for not being fully implemented or majorly implemented. This is limited resources and uneven progress. What happens in the development sector, and we all know that when it's international gathering, UN family or UN member of agencies, the vocals dominate and they get priority in drafting their resolution. So they don't understand that many of these say countries, they have a resource crunch. This one type of program will not have uneven progress across the region. Inadequate inclusion of marginalized voices and planning in execution that is happening in all the country across the board, even in India. I mean, we know Indian conditions, so we can agree and we can discuss about it further. Insufficient community participation, deep-rooted inequalities. These are all international problems, particularly for the developing countries. It's a fragmented implementation. It has not been implemented wholeheartedly. Either the national will is not there, even the will is there, not there. There will be all sort of problem, which is local in nature, which is culturally embedded in that. And sometimes it's a donor-driven, top-to-down approach, which many people say they don't find it useful. Trickle-down effect is not as much as it should have been. And this hindered that sustainability or meaningfully the outcomes. So then the question is that this is what is happening to the development goals. Many of us are looking for development goals to work on. 17 development goals, everybody quote about it. How many development goals where anthropologists can work? We have to find it out. So that's the next question, what you say. Anthropology meaningfully accelerate development, especially in India. Now we come to India. Anthropology, dear, is referred to as a quick fix solution. Our anthropologists, our friends also think that any problem is there and put anthropologists, they will solve it. Probably not possible for anything and everything. It's not quick fix solution for any problem. It's not panacea for every issue. So we have to critically analyze what is the goal that anthropology want to achieve through social and cultural lenses. We have to analyze the situation, the development goals, and then we see this is the development reality. Here is something which we can do, or here something we cannot do. Anthropology as a subject is important, I know, but it's important only in the context where social and cultural relevance matters. Otherwise, others are there already. We talked about the interdisciplinary approach, interdisciplinary programs. It's all good for anthropologists only when it is required to analyze the social and cultural issues, social and cultural and development realities. That's where our strength lies. We have to be very context specific, meaningful, objective, grounded in life experience. That's where we all will be thinking about. We have not given much thought of it, unfortunately. And we say anything where the problem is there, the problem with the people, anthropologists can be put. Our should we focus based on the 17 sustainable development goal or earlier development priorities. What I thought, I analyzed it where anthropologists can have their interventions in Indian conditions. I put it into 5 categories. And dear, this is just my listing. You can have your own listing and the social issues lined up. You can think about, I mean, from your point of view, everybody will differ into it. But for me, it's a social inequality. This is very important and embedded probably in our social system that doesn't allow us to go a little further. So we have to work on this. And we started studying caste, class, gender, everything. But that understanding has to be used for developing the society and reaching the development goal. The healthcare is another important issue. Information gaps are there, and misinformation are very much there in the healthcare, and that's where anthropologists can very much work very closely to the people to understand that whether it fits into their cultural values, the informations are reaching to them, or informations are reaching in the proper perspective. And that's why I say you have to go to the ground level to understand it. Yeah, biodiversity loss due to the ecosystem imbalancing the whole thing, what we are facing today is our own creation. And even we understood, we have not done it. I'm not sure how many universities or department of anthropologists in this country they talk about. They have special, say, modules, special modules that they teach on healthcare, medical anthropology. I was talking to my friends, and thank you, Dr. Gregory and Prashant Khatri and Bhatt Sahab. They all give me all these informations where I thought, okay, this is time we will be discussing it. This is time you should understand how many these modules, if you think that these are important areas where anthropologists can make contribution, meaningful contribution, how many modules you are teaching in your anthropology courses. Biodiversity, 1972, this was discussed first. Gujarat, I worked there. So Gujarat 2009, they had a climate change department created in that. Mr. Modi had written a book based on what, you know, I mean, you all know about it. In 90s, early 90s, Al Gore had compiled every data. That was, he was vice president of United States of America. And he compiled everything on that climate change, and his publication, it's a video also, Inconvenient Truth, that was released in 2004, 2005. Mr. Narendra Modi, he was the chief minister. He says, I mean, he copied it basically. And he said, in Indian condition, this is, he focused more on the Gujarat earthquake, Gujarat disaster. And he and his, say, cadre colleague, I forgot, Vitrupugal, they wrote a book that is called Convenient Action. It was Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore. Here is a Convenient Action. And that was released long ago. What has been done after that? How many people are really talking about in that anthropology department or biodiversity? Bhagwanda spent quite a bit of time, and he is trying to give some idea to the younger generation, but I'm not sure, Bhagwanda, how many departments you have been invited to talk about this. Education and cultural inclusion is a bigger, bigger issue now. It's a failure. I'm talking of the grassroots level. The primary education dropout rates are still very high. Those who are studying in schools, they are all, say, learning environment is different. And then what we say is a displacement and migration, displacement, migration. These are the burning issue where at least we can start working. There was a very good book by, I think, Mr. Buch, about migration. And I'm talking of early 2000. In a district like Jhabua, Madhya Pradesh, 58% migration was recorded. In all these, I mean, what happened during that Corona time? Then we realized how much migration had taken place. We don't have any concrete information how much migration has taken from the rural India to the urban sites. Does it have any social implications, or does it create cultural imbalance in the society, or either from the original villages or wherever they settle down? These are the problems. I think that these are the areas rather I think we should really think about. We should concentrate on that, and then say, okay, this is areas where we can do it. I don't have to say what anthropologists can do. Anthropologists really do. They promote equality because they map the hierarchy in the society. They build trust to improve public participation by engaging local influence, because they understand local language, they understand local, culture, they understand local structure, and they know how much information is going, what is their readability, they are ready or not, informations are reaching. Whether they understand it, information reaching, is it reaching to the original form? So they will know how to preserve cultural identity and social cohesiveness by reflecting community priority and promoting their access to service. This link has to be established. This is missing. And because this is missing, we have to really think about it. And certain policies have failed because we have not addressed these issues. Anthropologists have not been involved. Probably anthropologists were either not ready or not recognized because they have not they have not marketed them well. One good question, sometime I was talking to my friend Shalina, and we said, management and marketing, two things are there which anthropologists must understand. So we have not done it, and we fail to reach to benefit the policymakers, benefit the intended target population. What is happening to sanitation program? We boost ourselves that in 2007, one state was, say, what is that? Open defecation free. 2007. Today it's 2024. How many of you will vouch that one part or other part of rural India is open defecation free? Why it is not happening? We had started 1980s. I remember that when Netherlands team came and I was working with the Gujarat government. So we traveled a lot in the rural Gujarat, and we introduced community gobar gas plant. How many of these plants have really succeeded? Recently we have, and if Dr. Otai is there, because he is involved with the UNICEF, UNICEF have very good plan, I say. This is called take home ration. Amul has prepared the packet, which is very nutritious. It is distributed through Anganwadi centers for people. I mean, there are three categories: for infants, for children, and for lactating mothers or expecting mothers. It's not successful because we didn't understand what is the notion people have developed about that take-home ration. So these are issues where anthropologists should really focus. There is a good book by George M. Foster. Many of you might have read it. Interesting stories about all these, what is happening across he had given something like 100 cases. Why any technological interventions fail? And we have our own examples. We can do it. Coming to that, the area is highly relevant for our context. Why it is relevant to our context and how anthropologists can contribute at addressing these challenges? Because we have three very strong tools. One is ethnographic study. I'm not talking of any type of study. Dear, I will come back because I will touch that management part also. Everywhere, wherever you go, they have that studies being conducted. Ethnographic study is something which people have not either understood or they are not practicing it. Holistic view is required for, say ethnographic study. Meaningful insight of communities and their realities by immersing themselves in the society. We have to really think about how to do it and how to get that information. We are rich with information. I'm not talking because every department will be having ethnographic study or ethnographic approach of a study. We have to have a strategic communication that effectively connects people and program. There is a very simple 5W theory of Laswell, and that talks about the whole communication The idea that you have generated has to be communicated to the intended parties, the intended target group, whether it's a student, it's a society, it's a policymaker, it's a market, whatever. But that part is there. And then we have participatory planning, which we all talk about. So these three important things are there. And then why we all do it, so we don't expect the third party unless you have equipped with, I mean, you don't have to go to the third point unless we are fully equipped with point 1 and point 2. So you have to really think about it. And these three, you know what is there? Ethnographic study is nothing but acquisition of information, knowledge, this strategic communication, without which the development will not take place unless you have a very strong communication communicated to the intended target population. And that's nothing but dissemination of knowledge. And the third, participatory planning, where your application of knowledge has to be there. So I'm again back and I say, they say research, field work, applied interventions are all important dimensions which say contributing to acquisition, then disseminations and utilization of knowledge. We have our three very, very strong, and I don't have to really spend time because you all know about it. The three pillars of anthropology. It's a holistic perspective, cultural relativism, which talks about MICA standpoint, and the field work and observations. You know, field work and observations are something important. I will skip this part, anthropological research, because we all know that it's rooted in long-term field work, direct community interactions and participation, observation. I passed out from say anthropology in 1962. Professor Vidyarthi was our team leader, and Professor Vidya, that was it. That time it was practice. All our students had to spend 6 weeks in the field. No shortcut. Without deep immersion, nothing will be understood in true sense. But that's painful. And that is a concern I all want to share with you, that anthropology also is swimming against the original ideas and shifting trends and based on the market demands and convenience of research. So it's a departure from traditional field-based methods, which was immersive, which was participatory, and which was analytical. Shortcuts have emerged. Yes. Shortcuts have emerged because market people are not finding it very congenial because of their background. They are not, say, trained in anthropology. They are trained in management part, and these people are going to the market. They don't go to the rural areas. They get some information, secondary information, and not capturing the real feel of the people. Where we do ethnography, capture feel of people, we capture the nuances of life, which survey is failed to do it. You ask any management people, survey is known to everybody, but management has a very catchy word, which is say FGD, focus group discussion. I had discussion with my sociology friend who is teaching FGD in management. I say, what is FGD? I mean, the moment we talk about anthropology, there is a group discussion. What is a focus group discussion? Nobody will be ready to give you what you want. You have to dig it out. So anthropology helps design socially acceptable and ethnically or ethically sustainable solutions. That's is strength of that? We are trained to bring out the realities. We are trained to be bold and bluntly. That's what is missing. We are bold. We are coming out of that bluntly honest, brutally honest. Sorry, we should be blunt. I must say bold and brutally honest. We should bring out the reality to the fore. That will happen only when you go deep into the society to understand this. So their notions, their value, their culture, their practices. And in agriculture, you say this is started with agriculture. Everyone will say knowledge, attitude, and practice. How will you understand knowledge, attitude, and practice unless you go deep into it? Otherwise, people say superficial. Survey. My friend who is doing survey, I asked simple question. I am your respondent. You come to me for half an hour and you are asking a question to me. It depends on what type of mind of state of mind I am in, so that I will give you one short answer, and that doesn't satisfy any quality people. So we have to really think about how to do it. We have to bridge the gap between policy framework and really community realities, because policy people, they are trying, no doubt, but realities they are a little bit away from. For that, we have to dirty our seat. There is no say second opinion. There is no compromise on that. There is no such thought. I mean, anthropologists should not have any second thought on it. Deep immersion in fieldwork is the crux. Long-term presence is essential for building trust, gaining authentic insights. Real data will not come unless otherwise you really go deep into it. That requires time to build trust. And we were taught, we all know about it, how difficult it is, what we say, impression management. And getting authentic insight is not possible unless you have the good rapport with the people. Then only you can understand nuances, cultural, specific behavior. If it is not there, you need to dirty your hand, you dirty your seed. Otherwise, superficial or short-term research will misguide you. When I analyze, and often in some of the interviews I was there, and I found that our anthropologists are very hardworking when they are in the field, but they are not good at really defining the critical component they have observed. Probably they have not observed, or what, I don't know. Because today everything is shortcut. Challenges of the discipline is, it's a dangerous. Wind is blowing against our long-term anthropological studies. Wind is blowing against ethnographic research, immersive research. Ever since I joined Mudra Institute of Communication, it's a communication management institute, I introduced 10 days, it was 15 days, now it's 10 days immersive field work. This is management, and some of the management schools are having that. Institute of Rural Management, IRMA, has 2-month immersion, but it's changing very fast. Market people or the business people, they don't apply mind. So they don't see value of a long-term feedback. They just want how much money will be spent if I'm getting the data in, say, 2 days. No matter whether it's the quality is compromised or not. So they suggest same thing, shortcut by the non-anthropologist, and we copy there. We have also, in anthropology, we have copied that as a shortcuts. That will challenge the survival of anthropology. Anthropology is at risk I can just quote one example from my life. I was communication advisor in Denmark embassy in Delhi, and then very high profile positions. Attended free review meetings, and I thought that everybody knows that every 3 months we have to come, we have to present half an hour, so either oral presentation or slide presentation, and half an hour will be say firing, suggestions, guidance, and the same thing will happen again after 3 months. So it's a routine thing. Being anthropologist didn't satisfy me. I went to the ambassador and he said, "This doesn't satisfy me." He said, "What do you suggest, Arbind?" I said, "Oh, I should stay in a district for 1 month, and I want to take my wife because it was a Delhi position, so every evening she will complain this happened, that happened." I really stationed myself in a small district of Karnataka, and then I realized, my God, what is happening? Information which is going from the district level, it doesn't reach to the people. So how will you expect them to change their health practices? So that is what is bothering me. Unless you go and really live with the people, it's a very difficult. My last slide is little short, and we'll have more discussion on it. So what is there? Our next generation should ask a question now. This is the situation. What are you offering me? Because it's a question of their future. A student has to ask how much we are really equipped with these qualities which Arbind Sinha and many other anthropologists, we all talk about it. It's not that only Arbind Sinha is talking about it. What Arbind Sinha and others are talking about, have you equipped us in that particular skill? When I go to the market, am I ready to be used? Because nobody will say give you the training and then say the product should be ready to use. So did I get all these information from my say classrooms, and do I know all these things beforehand? Who will give me? That question the students should ask, and teachers have to be ready to answer it. They also have to interrogate how much I have prepared my students to go to a particular field, which is not only traditional anthropology, also say different anthropological dimensions. I know. He has entered into a Ota Sahab and then Amitabh ji. They all entered into new area. It's a museum. I know Dr. Roy. First, that Museum of Man was there in Bahawalpur House in Delhi. Sachin Ray was there. And from there, it has started, anthropologists started taking interest. Where is the module that you teach to our students? At least slowly it's penetrating, and Amitabh will tell how many centers they have. And it's an amazing work that he is doing or others are doing. Ota Sahab has really gone up to the president's house. So these are the areas where we have to do it. We have already missed some buses. Communication was, I talk about communication every time. Communication was the leading, say, anthropological ground for almost a decade. All the head of the departments of communication research in the country were anthropologists, whether it's a Doordarshan, whether it's a All India Radio, whether it's a ISRO, whether it's a All India Indian Institute of Mass Communication. It was all headed by anthropologists. Where are the anthropologists? Which university teach about communication anthropology? Thanks, Alina. You have put my say note on that. Yeah, on your site. So these are some of the important things which they must do it. ICMR, Nita was there, Seema is there already, and lot many people. One of my colleague also, Kalyan Saha, is there in Jabalpur. There is a good opportunity of anthropologists fitting into ICMR projects. How many universities, how many departments are teaching it? Professor Mutatkar spent his lifetime. Joshi was doing it, and some of the. I was asking a question and didn't get a definite answer. How many departments are teaching medical anthropology, and what dimensions of medical anthropology we are teaching to these students? Is it not a time to really introspect? What is that modules that we should introduce? What is that we should really think about? The greatest danger is that if we are going for a shortcut, mind it, my friends, management institutions are teaching research methodology, management institutions are teaching cultural context of business, and management institute are also teaching communication and technology, analytics through technology. All these things they are teaching. And I just got a number. Thanks, Professor Gregory. We have something like 49 universities offering anthropology degree, and something say 15 to 30 students. I say it's the 25 students. So roughly we have 1,200 students coming out from anthropology department. I am not talking about the quality, which is good for fitting into these subjects. And on the contrary, we have 5,880 management institutions. Even if 300 institutions are equipping their students with research methodology, analytical ability, and communication capability, there will be 18,000 students every year coming to the market. Where do we stand? Think over. And my request to all the senior people here, I don't know Deepak is there or not, but Deepak Bhai, Gregory Saab, Salina, I mean, some names and others. Is it not a time to really have a, say, what do you say? It's an audit of all departments and the courses that is offered and the contextual analysis of what is required. That will help the future of this department. Otherwise, unless, and this I raised in 1979 when I was invited in Ranchi, and I said, relevance of anthropology, my paper is published in that book, relevance of anthropology. And unless it is relevant, because how many departments you will open to absorb anthropologists? How many seats Survey of India, Anthropological Survey of India will offer every year? You have to have a diverse applications of anthropology, and for that you have to really equip your students. Thank you all. That's over to say.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for a wonderful lecture. So very informative and insightful. You traced how anthropology has contributed immensely in different fields, and what are the challenges currently, and how to go about increasing the visibility. In fact, as a medical anthropologist, when I joined JNU, I joined Center of Social Medicine Community Health, and I was told first to unlearn the subject which I have learned and then get into public health. Whereas when I started teaching a course where anthropology in health, I realized there's so much anthropologists have already done, and especially when you look at very important names internationally and within India also, where anthropologists have done pioneering work in public health. So when you look at Kleinman, we have Robert Hang and Nancy Skepper-Hughes, and within India, Mutatkar sir, Shalina ma'am, and there's so many others who have contributed in medical anthropology. So I realized that the core strength which anthropologists have and how it can be applied in different fields. And here we have very senior colleagues who are working in the environment and economy. And as we all know, anthropology is such a broad discipline, and every sub-discipline itself is a very, very in-depth kind of understanding of a particular area. So there's so much to do, and rightly said, we started in 70s, and interestingly, in 62 when you started, or 72 when the conference was done within India, where anthropologists have come till date. I mean, there's so much to understand that what has gone behind, but there's so much to do, and especially for the younger scholars, there's a lot of potential. But only thing, how do we bring it forward? And that's where I think we all keep talking about, and how to collaborate with other disciplines, how to do more of a multidisciplinary research, which is more and more important nowadays. So I think these are very, very important points, and a lot of food for thought you have given to all of us, sir. And I'll open now for discussion. Would be happy if Professor Roy, Dr. Neeta, Shalina ma'am, and even young scholars, I'm really glad to see Sharing and Bamdev who have joined from Nepal. So all of you are most welcome to share your comments and suggestions. Over to Professor Roy.
Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, Dada.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you. I was listening to Dr. Arbind Sinha, and it was very difficult to have my comment on observation. So many things. I'll pick up only one. What he said, the last slide. This last slide was, in fact, from the first slide, connecting. He started with the communication. And the strength of any anthropologist to feel classroom teaching or even one-to-one interview or market survey, the communication is the basic skill which is required. And that we have discussing with Arvind Bhai for some time. Communication does not mean kya kaha, kya suna. In fact, how did he respond in a communication day? And then he said, once the communication, and then it comes about the knowledge. And he mentioned the knowledge means application of theory. And then he added application means theory means how you bring the change. He referred about Manu Bhai Desai. I had met him in Pune long back when Narayan was there on the executive.
Great man.
Yeah. I had the opportunity of talking to him in Pune a number of times. And then he mentioned about the micro planning development. This is a chain of anthropology, is a core principle. Why this is there, the last point, what he mentioned, we have to reflect. I will like to emphasize on that. We have to reflect a kind of, are we going to lose the core of anthropological subject, the core of anthropological theory? Dr. Sinha mentioned about it. My concern, how many of us can tell what is the core anthropological theory which is exclusive with anthropology? A physicist will say the physical theory. The biologist will say about the biological theory. We must be clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the core anthropological theory and how this will be applied. Unless we do not find the main core anthropological theory. If you ask me, I face Arvind this question to non-anthropology very often. अच्छा बोलिए तो यहाँ पर कौन सा anthropological theory? अच्छा यहाँ पर, and then we, like a physician, you also mentioned about the medical anthropology. As a physician or as a medical anthropology, you have to have a pulse and feel and tell this is the thing, this is right, this is wrong. So we have to understand about the core anthropological theory, and this is a very difficult. It's not that easy. And I will, since Arvind Bhai, we have worked because of him in one of the MICA Institute, I will tell one thing only here to all my friends, anthropologists or non-anthropologists. सबसे बड़ा रुपया. Yes. Whom we teach. Arvind, we had taught in MICA MBA student. whom we teach, how he gets a job. So we have to make an anthropological student capable of getting job. Otherwise, every year we'll be listening about it. That.
Yes.
And your last three concern about the communication, how we apply anthropological theory, what are the methods, and the challenges of the time constant shortcut. Yes, I will share with all my friends witnessing Arvind Bhai that we have only MBA student, they have 4 days field work and they have presented data on the tribal NTP. My question here, student 4 days field work, another 4 days field work, total 8 days, and there were students in Bharat. I was also teaching them how in 8 days they had brought change and the management student. I wanted to share, we have to reflect, I repeat, we have to reflect the way we teach, whether the students are capable of getting a job. This is very, very important. Otherwise, we will be discussing and students will be frustrated. Thank you very much. We have to make them capable of delivering. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Roy sir, for your comments and appreciation. I'm really glad to see there are a lot of comments and compliments to you, Arvind sir, in the chat box. And there are no questions, but I would be happy if other senior colleagues and also young scholars would like to share some thoughts. Yeah.
Good evening. This is Professor Das from Bhubaneswar.
Ji, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
I heard a very good talk, about 40 minutes, and that I could only share with 4 words. Professor Sinha has talked about the scope of anthropology and the role of anthropologist in the present context. So everybody, the youngsters, the young anthropologists, the budding anthropologists, the students, they know definitely the scope, and when they become enter in the field of anthropology to disseminate the subject and go to the field for the field study, then for the development or the well-being of the people. So that means scope of anthropology and the role of anthropologist. So the role of anthropologist is very much needed across the globe, everywhere, because this is a subject till the origin of, we deal with the origin of anthropology and beyond the time and space, even future anthropology will deal with. So thank you, Professor Sinha. And Dada has raised one question: what is the theory of anthropology? To me, the theory of anthropology is a human theory. It's a human theory. Value the people and be truthful to the people. Value the people means value their culture and they study truthfully. Your empirical study must be truthful. Your data must be truthful. Then there is value and value. Then you can apply. Value the people and value the truth. These 2 important things are the anthropology to the science of the human. Because only humans can lie. No other animal in the world can lie. So when humans see something, they add something color and they write something else. When you suppose you read about a culture writing by Mr. X and Mr. Y, what is his biasness, how he studies, how he understood about the culture, he has written or she has written. So we must be very truthful to the people and truthful to ourselves. That is our theory. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for very wise words. In fact, very true what you said in the last.
Right.
Over to you, Dr. Neeta.
Thank you, Dr. Sunita, and thank you very much, Dr. Arvind, for a wonderful presentation, very comprehensive, right? Going into the insights to the impact. I think that's a very important role for an anthropologist. identifying what are the needs of people, to see how those are fulfilled, what are the the process itself is very important. And an anthropologist is one who accept people the way they are and see what are their needs and what changes can be brought in. And the way you have talked about communication, you also discussed in detail about the Millennium Development Goals, how they have evolved. In fact, the whole process is very much evolving, whether the process of learning or the process of development, and how we can reach to the people. So you have actually underscored the fact that there is a need for more intensive apply of learnings from anthropology for the community well-being, for the community development. And then we have to decide what methodology we used, what methodologies we need to use, and whether it could be a single one or it could be multiple ones. We have to see how those findings are again communicated to the concerned people who are actually in the development, and back to the people, how it is being disseminated back to the community. Now, these are important issues, and communication becomes a very important part because it is context driven. Another issue that you talked about was very important, was about how this can be achieved through well-researched programs, and there is a need for documenting it from the, each process itself can be documented. When you're talking of a development program, what is at the baseline when the program started, how an anthropologist understood it, understanding the needs, how the program has gone, what are the, how it is evolving over the period of time, whether it is having the impact as you talked about from insight to impact. And this impact has to be seen at different levels, short term, long term, at all these levels. And if there are something which is missing, that's where an anthropologist can communicate well. So anthropologists definitely have a very important role in these development programs. And we have to underscore the fact that anthropologists can achieve it through a more collaborative effort with other disciplines, because we cannot live in an isolation. These development programs may not be the expertise of anthropologists. These may be expertise of somebody else, for example, health programs. But we need to see how best they can reach to the community, how best the community can participate in making the best use of the program that is being given. So these need to be really looked at. And you have highlighted the importance of how this knowledge can be acquired, can be disseminated through these means. So thank you for your wonderful talk, and really enjoyed it. And there's a lot of things that we can all work together to see that we can achieve and contribute in a very meaningful manner for the sustainable development goals, which we all aim to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Neeta.
Can I say one thing, Sunit?
Sir, please go ahead.
One, yeah. Slide.
Sir, your voice is breaking. Roy, sir?
I wanted to add one more point that Dr. But I will talk after Dr.
I have been teaching sustainable development for many years, but today the way Arbind has explained about goal, political perspective is there. I can say the approach of understanding SDG and how.
Sir, your voice is breaking. We couldn't hear you properly. Can you please put it in the chat box, sir?
Yeah, Roy, there was problem.
Yes. Shalina ma'am would be happy to.
Yes. No, I think it's very important. And Arbind has actually set an agenda for you, Sunita. If you paid attention to what he said, we have to do an audit of curriculum of anthropology being taught in 49 departments that we know of till now. And I don't see anybody else doing it, but I think he was hinting at you to take over the responsibility, bring it to the platform, and let us see what is it that is lacking there.
सही
That's
सही पकड़े हैं.
मैं समझ रही थी क्या कह रहे हो तुम. बहुत बरसों से जानती हूँ, 40 बरस हो गए. So here is something very pragmatic and practical uh, that one has to take cognizance of. Now, my other question is to you, Arvind, and
Yep.
to everybody, and especially to young scholars sitting in the audience. Uh, I have been very, very concerned reading some reports recently, especially in the domain of health interventions. A lot of hope was being generated, and I thought it was very important for a country like ours, where artificial intelligence was to be used for making interventions in the kind of problems people are facing. Yesterday, a study came out from MIT which suggests that it is a failed experiment. Even before the experiment took over, it has become a failed experiment. Now, here is a concern for anthropologists because the kind of issues people are facing at the ground level. Medical professionals have a targeted approach that you can give medicines and it will be cured. And all of us who did a lot of research on HIV were told this. Now, unless you map the issues and unless you are able to spell out what are the impediments are not only availability, but are also cultural
Yes,
impediments.
yes, 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 yes.
And who is going to measure it but us, the anthropologists? The only problem with us is that we never put ourselves in the center stage. We never say that we are the best professionals and we have the best knowledge. We constantly keep looking at others. So, my young friends here, those who are working with you and are very, very active and bright, should take over here. But our job, and Abin is ready to respond to that. How do we make them aware that all this talk about technology, AI, taking away your jobs, how do we tell them that, look, there is a very bright future ahead for you? Please carry on with some traditional methodologies for which there is absolutely no substitute. And we've repeatedly said that field work, field work, field work, which means primary knowledge, primary understanding to really know what are the constraints. So Arvind is ready to say something and I'm
Yes.
passing it on to him. But this is a subject that I think should be debated amongst us.
Yeah, I will start from what
Yeah.
Salina was talking about. Salina, 2014, there was an international conference of anthropology.
AI तो resume जैसा है. You don't want a job.
And
Can
you hear me?
Yes, sir. There's some disturbance.
There's some disturbance here.
2014, there was an international conference on communication in India. And then I presented a paper. I will send you the copy of the paper. The title is Covering the Last Mile, where anthropology, the health fails. And it's nothing but touching the last mile. And last mile cannot be approached and convinced unless you understand their culture, their own reality at that level. I will send you. We have done it. It's not. And thank you. After I will send you today, tomorrow. After that, we can discuss it, take it forward. To Bhagwanda, Dada, 1979, I mentioned that I raised a question to the audience in Ranchi conference where Professor Vidyarthi was there. And my paper, thankfully, it was included in that publication. Question of anthropology, the question of relevance. And I had given 2-3 statistics. How many departments are absorbing anthropologists? How many seats are there? That's the question. In Anthropological Survey of India, these are 2 possible domains anthropologists will think about. At the moment anthropologists go to that subject or enroll for the anthropology, these 2 hopes are there, but not. There are a lot of opportunity where anthropologists should get employment, and unless, and you rightly said, unless there is a marketability, nobody will come to study anthropology. And it's happening in any subject. Why should I worry? The simple question, what is this? What is there for me? So that question we all have to answer, otherwise nothing will happen. Sunita,
yes, sir.
Medical anthropology. I know we are running against time. Medical anthropology. I had discussion with, say, Dr. Mutadkar, and I had a couple of friends who did in medical anthropology. When you started in, say, community health, you started working on health, not medical anthropology. And I told Dr. Mutadkar, why not we discuss it and say, it's a, instead of medical anthropology, it should be health, anthropology of health. That makes more sense. Because the moment, maybe I'm wrong, but yes, the challenge is for you and then Salina also sometimes. Do an audit. Tell people that here we are going right, here we are going wrong, or here we need more adjustment. That's all I wanted. Any other question?
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, what Shalina ma'am said, we are ready to do that. Maybe within a month, we can try and get all the syllabus from all the departments. But now after that, probably we should have a meeting and discuss where we are going and what kind of disciplines, new disciplines are being added, or the old ones have gone, which needs to be revived or reviewed. I think that
Salina
can be done.
and Sunita.
Yes, sir.
Maybe in a week's time, 10 days, I will send a proper, say, proposal that should go to, all senior people will have it, that should go to UGC or ICSR, wherever, and we should fund it to find out why anthropology, what is happening in anthropology. So it's a bigger proposal that I will be sending. Will be marking a copy to you also.
That will be wonderful, sir. In fact,
we have to do it.
Yes, and Professor Gregory is, with done in MICA, where it can, the subject can go down to the school level. I'm sure we can do a lot. In fact, I had a discussion with Professor Basa, and I was telling our education minister is an anthropologist. In one of the lecture, he spoke almost for 10 minutes how being an anthropologist, he's able to govern better. So I suppose this is the best time, opportune time to go and meet him, and then bring all these points to say why we should not have anthropology, more departments at university and college level.
You should have, it's a high time. You should say.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
Ma'am, Vinita ma'am, please go ahead.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is, while we are discussing, you're talking in terms of syllabi, etc., but we've come up with the new education policy, which is in fact, and I would go to the extent of saying belittled anthropology completely. I don't know what role we have played in terms of emphasizing on the importance of the subject. Because as I see it, there are lesser people because of the kind of choices, etc., that the new education policy has provided of students being able to take anthropology. As I have seen it since I've retired, I'm not directly in touch, but from what I've seen, there are lesser students, for example, in St. Xavier's College in Mumbai, who are taking anthropology than they were before.
Vinita, why should they take anthropology?
Why shouldn't they? Were taking.
No,
I was teaching there. We had 100 students taking anthropology.
They were taking.
Today there are 20 because of the way the new education policy has come up. It's us who has to stress on the importance of anthropology.
We have to prove that anthropology is important.
Absolutely. But then that's what I'm telling you, that students have come into our college without knowing about the subject, but because the subject was available as a choice, they took it and then they finally specialized in it simply because it was a good subject. But we are also not doing enough to popularize it, as somebody just said, at the school level. Nobody knows about the subject.
Problem is that we have to
Yes.
strengthen.
In
We
fact,
have to
even in
put, we have to put our house in order,
exactly.
strengthen our base, and then market it.
Even in Hyderabad Central University, it was a master's program, and I joined. Now, to attract more students, that has become a integrated course. So now students are taken after school, like for a graduation and masters, so that they can have more children in this particular subject. So I think there are a lot of things to be done. We need to really put our efforts and make a plan, and then at different levels we have to work. And
one is the high school level. High school levels, people don't know. Forget the students. Nobody knows about anthropology.
Exactly.
I told to Sawa that before I got admission into, when I fit up form, I didn't know what anthropology A stands for.
Exactly. Somebody says, anthropology, are you studying insects? So,
no, I didn't know, but I applied and then
So this is a subject which all of us join and then understand, and then we are so passionate about it because we know the real the value of this particular subject. So I think there's a lot to do. I mean, we are going to put down all these points. In fact, we have very good comments.
Excuse me, Sunita. So what I want, if people do not know what is anthropology, you can change it man of began. Then everybody will know what is anthropology. So man of began. Finish. That's all right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Let me just intervene here. You talked about Hyderabad University. I have had good fortune of being on the
she was there on that committee.
academic council and political science, gender studies, English. They are all doing anthropology. So the question here is, where have we failed? Let's be very honest and candid about it. That we have not, first and foremost, not marketed ourselves properly. And do we really have to restructure ourselves? That's another question. If your content is so powerful that everybody else is stealing it and owning it up, and here we are sitting and crying that nobody really bothers about anthropology or nobody really knows about anthropology. So, somewhere down the line, I think some brainstorming has to be done. And I don't know whether the present education minister is going to be, would probably light the path for us. And as she pointed out, I've already written about it, that how new education policy has completely failed us or failed the people for whom it was supposed to be to have developed. But what I suggest for you is that in your these extensive exercises that you're doing, have some roundtables and some brainstorming on, let's say, just pick up one issue. Let's not have too many issues. Pick up some experts, not more than four at a time, and let there be open discussion. Because even here, I'm seeing that these young, bright students are not speaking. Now, unless they come forward and tell us what's wrong with us, we'll not really be able to go forward. So let us somehow revise the way we are dealing with this whole issue and involve their greater participation. So when you have four, at least two should be from the younger students. So there should be a round table of four with two younger colleagues or students or research scholars and two senior faculty. Hopefully, we should be able to do something before we go away.
Definitely, ma'am, we'll do that. I think we can have a roundtable discussion maybe within a month and invite some scholars. As you said, mix of both young and senior, so that we chalk out a program and definitely know how to further this discipline, make it more visible. And as you rightly said, every other department takes away our best part of it and use it as their,
Yeah.
and in fact, many senior sociologists within our country, when they go abroad, they say they are anthropologists. And when they come back to India, they say they are sociologists. So this is also very interesting how when you have an opportunity, you share that you are more an anthropologist than a sociologist. And I hear in the comments also very well written that it's self-critical. What your presentation was very much self-critical presentation, sir, talking about anthropology. Bamdev have a question saying that how the traditional fieldwork has gone to a newer fieldwork traditions, which is now less. But how can this? I mean, how can one can explain this development? Probably market oriented. Whatever you already raised it. This is a question from Bamdev sir. If you would like to address it, the rest of the comments are mostly, appreciating the lecture.
Bamdev, can I say clear your doubt? One is that very simple. We are all escapists, and this corona and the market forces, they influenced our thinking also. Corona was a very special circumstances where we also compromised on our field work and then using remote information. But that situation was over in 2-3 years. We are still like a barometer. We are still stuck to the shortcut. It will never have. Plus, market people, it is convenient for them to have a very shortcut and some alternative method. Some of us also followed that, unfortunately. And what happens? We also find it, okay, it's easy also at our age. Why to take all this trouble? Let us talk about it. And once we give green signal, no, all our juniors will follow, oh, this is what Arbind Sinha is talking about. Once I had written that anthropological study or holistic study, because I started working with my mentor, Dr. Vinod Agarwal, on holistic study during 1974-77. That was the time I met Salina. We both were dynamic. So what happened? Yeah, so we said that, okay, let us talk about field studies. And then first time in India, holistic study, I mean, anthropological study dominated the research of ISRO. That was the contribution. First time, large scale study was done. But that everybody started now talking, oh, it's a very expensive. I also write that it's not easy to do anthropological study because anthropological study cannot be carried out by any Tom, Dick, and Harry. You have to have proper understanding of anthropology and ethnographic method. Whereas the other part is easier. You hire anybody and then 5-10 questions. Aapka naam kya hai? Aapke baap ka naam kya hai? I mean, it's much easier. Anybody can do it. But for anthropologists, you have to have a properly trained, say, professional anthropology, which marketeers find it very difficult. So that market trend has gone for a simplistic method of research, qualitative research. That's one reason. And we also have not discussed and thought what is the appropriate way where the newer way of anthropology can be done without compromising the core of anthropology. And that's what we should do it. Over. Thank you, Nandan.
Thank you so much, sir, for clarifying the doubt. And in fact, we are very, very thankful to all the seniors who have joined. It's quite late, probably for dinner, but this discussion will definitely continue. We would like to organize a roundtable and then take this forward. And I think we've been talking about it in our groups, but Arvind sir's lecture has really put everything in perspective, and now we really need to work on it. So we will definitely come up with a roundtable. I would like to take a minute to thank everyone. Thank you. Lalit sir is also here. Would you like to say something before we go on for vote of thanks, sir? And Valimbi sir?
I am speechless. I am speechless. I don't understand anything of it, but I learned a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will discuss only when we meet next.
We are meeting soon.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
हमारे 3 neighbors हैं ना.
Yeah,
Nita, Lalit,
I have, Sirji, I have some questions, but I will ask you in Lavasa.
In Lavasa.
Not in front of everybody.
Most
So that's
welcome.
so nice that 3-4 of you are there. Probably the discussion can continue even after we close this meeting. Thank
Sure.
you so much, Lalit sir, Subhash sir, Vinita ma'am, Shalina ma'am, Nirmal sir, Neeta Mawa ma'am. We also have Fandi.
Vinita can also come to Lavasa.
Yes, definitely. Sarpraji, thank you, Sabha. Thank you, sharing. Thank you, Bamdev, Mithun, Puviji, and Pooja. Thanks for joining. Professor Gregory, though he's traveling, but still he could join and give his comments. Thank you, Vandana. I would like to now close this meeting, and we'll definitely meet soon at another distinguished guest lecture and also a roundtable. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Thank you,
Thank you, everybody. It was nice.
Thank you.
Everybody, thank you, Sunita, and your team for carrying it on. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you.
Sunita.
At least it's
Thank you,
everything.
Dr.
I'll close the meeting here. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Wonderful session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.